Admiral's log. The wheels of fate turn once more, and from the ashes of defeat rises a phoenix reborn, as the Japanese Empire, like a slumbering giant, awakens from its brief respite to reclaim its former glory. In less than a year, they have reasserted their dominion over the core islands, casting aside the specter of their collapse with an audacity that borders on the miraculous. Yet, as I watch from afar, the fires of suspicion burn ever brighter within me, illuminating the shadows that linger at the edges of this unfolding drama. How could a nation so thoroughly vanquished rise again so swiftly and decisively? It defies reason, defies logic, and fuels my growing conviction that there are darker forces at play, manipulating events from the shadows to serve their own inscrutable ends. But I am not one to idly stand by and watch as the world dances to the tune of hidden masters. No, I have been busy, my mind ever sharp, my resolve unyielding. In the absence of the Japanese, we have seized the opportunity to expand our influence, to reclaim what is rightfully ours. The territories once held by our enemies now lie under our control. Their people looking to us for guidance and protection. It is a responsibility I do not take lightly, for with every inch of land we claim, we move one step closer to our ultimate goal, the Japanese Empire. But even as I lay the groundwork for our next assault, I cannot shake the feeling that there are darker forces at work, forces that seek to manipulate us for their own ends. Yet, come what may, I will not waver. I will not falter.
Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to the ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts campaign. The Empire of Japan is threatening us that they will declare war on us if we do not show a sign of reducing the tension against their country. Excellent. We're going to increase the tension against their country. So, minus 10% relations with Japan, and we're at war with Japanese. Excellent. Exactly what I wanted to do. Because the enemy, Japan, is still there. Now, my unrest is getting remarkably high for my playthroughs. It's currently on 68.9. So anything I can do to lower the unrest is ideal. I don't really need money at the moment. I'm getting a surplus of 136 million per month. So anything that reduces unrest is very nice to get. Now, of course, a war between China and Japan is going to snowball into some other effects. And I might have some tensions building up with other nations, such as Germany. I'm not really that concerned about the Germans, because the Germans seem to be, well, you know, doing German things. Fighting the French, looking to be fighting the British as well. So with that in mind, the enemy of my enemy could very well be my friend. Let's improve relations with the British. If the Germans are indeed going to fight, I will take some territory off of them. This would, however, increase my footprint in the region, forcing me to defend more areas. That might be a problem, but we'll see how it goes. I also have Southeast Asia over here. This also now needs to get defended from Japanese warships. That's because I have this little area of Sarawak over here. Unfortunately, I currently have every single ship that I have tied up in this invasion of Kyushu. I'm not sure if there is a sort of land bridge between Kyushu and North Honshu. I'm not sure how the map treats that. But if I can get this, that would be a nice stepping stone to get back into Japan. Well, maybe not back, but into Japan in the first place. I have the port over here, South Sakhalin and Korsakov. This definitely is not connected, so there will not be an invasion. As for other territories, there isn't that much to grab, at least not from the Japanese at the moment. Shipbuilding capabilities, working hard at building another battle cruiser. This is that new battle cruiser of the Aura class. And I'm also building some ships for various other nations. Sweden at the moment, because I think I have lost a few allies. Yes, the Greek have deserted me. And, well, there was another power, but they're not currently interested in buying, so that's fine. We'll just have to see how the Japanese are going to decide to fight this war. Because they're not completely out of the fight. They definitely have some ships here. And that's the ships that we can see. It does look to be all of them for the moment, but there are 13 more coming up. So it could potentially get more exciting. Of course, 1 month later, things spiral out of control with the Germans and now also at war with Germany. Whether this is going to be an actual shooting war or more of a cold war, that remains to be seen. I'm not sure if the Germans actually have any territory around here. I mean, well, they've got territory, alright, but if they have any ships defending the place. If they don't, then I really don't have to concern myself with additional transport, transport escorts. What we do have over here is Kiautschou Bay. It's defended by 50,000 soldiers. Whether that'll be enough to stem the flow of the 226,000 soldiers that northeast China is currently harboring, well, that remains to be seen. I'd love to take this little port off of them. It unfortunately does not have any oil, but it does have quite a lot of income, especially if you offset that income on the population, which is really not that many. So that would be an interesting situation to have a look at. Over here, we're still... well, we're only getting a 40%. I'm not so sure that invasion is going to go through. Money-wise, we are burning money fast, but I got a nice buffer, so we'll be fine. The next month brings confusing news, as apparently I have conquered Afghanistan. What could possibly go wrong? It's not like any great empire has gone over to Afghanistan to die. It's not a particularly rich area. It's 643 million, but hey, it's income, it's nice. I guess we came in from Xinjiang. It does potentially allow me further expansion into other areas. What I'm very curious about... yeah, right. I never actually managed to get my armor logistics to 100% when I was playing as the Soviets. And yet, these guys just do it with 70 ships. I have 55, my logistics is only 41%. So they might have... they got bigger warships than I do. Yeah, I suppose that's helpful. They got more battleships. Speaking of battleships, I think it was the French who took the lead in that. Yeah, they got 28 battleships. 23 for the Brits, 10 for the Germans. And the Germans are now also at war with the British. Oh dear. I hope that that's going to keep the Germans properly occupied in the European theater, so that I don't have to worry about them over here. The long wait is finally over. We can roll out the battleships, the battle cruisers, the heavies, the lights, and the DDs against the Empire of Japan's Navy. They have a battleship, a battle cruiser, a heavy, and 2 DDs. We have them outgunned by, I would say, a massive margin. Taking part in this battle is, well, a curious little formation we have going on here. We have the battle cruisers Alexander Oliveira and the Emmanuel K. A good time to pitch that if you want to get your name in the game, you can support me on Patreon or through the join button on YouTube, and you might find that your name gets picked for the game. Has to be on NCO rank or plus, but that's like $5 a month. It's I kept this cheap. Now, we also have the battleship Owen Perez. I don't think my battleships have ever fought, so I'm interested in seeing how well they actually perform under duress. These things have 12-inch Mark IIIs, capable of hitting some, well, not hitting something, throwing out a shell every 37 seconds. Whether they will hit something, yeah, that remains to be seen. Also with the fleet, a couple of heavy cruisers, the David Titus, the Lucas Weinman, the Excellent Gaming, the Josh Miller, the 38 Tails, the Ken Rozak, light cruisers Rel, USMC Cog, and the American Patriot LGB. I'm interested in the light cruisers as well. I haven't seen these things with their torpedo range, and 8.9 torpedo range for a light cruiser is not bad. This era, you don't generally get hydrophones, so it's going to be difficult for the enemy to detect whether or not they're coming under torpedo attack. Destroyers. Oh, sorry, I didn't actually list all the CLs yet. The Mohammedi, the Colin Donnelly, the Guy Schaefer, the Lord and 3, the Freaky J, the Catfish Hunter, the Wolf Dean Styles, the Bearborn, the KG, the Empress Pion, the VF-114 Jock the Swindler, and the Unbekannt. We have so many ships out here. Why are they out here? Well, we're doing a nice little invasion. But more on that in the strategic map. First, let's have a look at what the Japanese are actually fielding themselves. Looks like a pretty reasonable displacement for a battleship. Pretty reasonable layout as well. 6 14-inchers, a couple of 8.2s, and the rest of it is 4.2s and smaller. So that's what they have in the casemates. And the casemates do feel like they're short barrel. Which is interesting, because it means that they don't get a lot of range. Yeah, 8.9. So those things could very well threaten my CLs. But seeing as I have the battlecruisers and the battleships with range advantage, I might not even need that. Their battlecruiser then. This thing already has range on her 13-inchers. And is using 10 of those. Although I would be very surprised if the stern ones can actually be joining in this fight at the moment. Now, considering that shells tend to go astray every now and then, I am a bit concerned, really, about whether or not the unintended target effect might come into play. So, for that particular reason, I'm going to have a couple of divisions change their course. I'm going to have... yeah, why not? I'm going to have a group division of light cruisers and destroyers. They're all going to save their torpedoes until such a time when it's opportune. We have 8.9. These guys also have... well, they don't have 8.9. Yeah, some of them do. I have not gotten around to upgrading all the light cruisers yet, because they've been out for a long time. They have generally been very busy, trying to capture as much territory as possible before the Japanese rematerialized. And, considering how long they have been out here, you can maybe make out just how long that has been. It means that these ships probably haven't seen a port in years. Some other ships have. We are also getting some pressure on the CLs at this point. Smoke up. Push in a bit. Oh. There's another smoke screen rolling in. Yeah. There it is. Alright, let's turn a bit. Have a close look at this CL. We're using a couple of 4.3s, and then we have, what was it, 1 or 2 7-inchers? 1 7-incher on the stern. So capabilities are fairly limited. And I really don't like the placement of this DD, because it is very much in the way of a torpedo attack against our capital ships. And with that in mind, it's going to be difficult to get a good hit on them. I do have another DD screen somewhere. This is the other CL group, right? Yeah, so you guys can join this. Get on a nice big CL group. Make it a normal formation and continue on your course. Looks like the Alexander is being followed by the heavies. Yeah, that's fine. We got one group there, we got one group there. Incoming torpedo. Multiple, actually. The majority seems to be over there. There's one torpedo coming close. Could be a problem for the Donnelly. No, there's another launch. Okay, I'm going to have to intervene here, lest this ship finds her demise. Yeah, I don't care if you break your engine. Slow down! Yeah, you're definitely going to get hit. I thought that they would be a bit faster to reverse speed. Or reverse engines, but sadly no joy. This Nashi DD, we haven't hit him at all. Okay, if you go steady, you should be safe. But I'm not sure if you're going to be succumbing to that flooding that you've taken. 23% is pretty bad. At least we're getting some damage in on their DD. And now, well, are these things sporting a hydrophone? They are not. They are getting depth charges. But there are no submarines, so the depth charges themselves are a bit moot. Okay, this whole division. Torpedo the battleship if you get an opportunity to do so. Okay, the Colin is safe-ish. There. Got torpedoes away against the key. The Nashi has detected the torpedo threat. Oh, Lauren just also launched her torps. Right in front of the Nashi. Ha! Okay, well yeah, it's possible, I guess. Wouldn't be my first choice, but they have been ordered to attack the key. Oh, somebody else kind of fluffed their launch. Who was that? Was that Bearborn? No. Boom. Who is launching all of these torps? Oh, it's you! Do you just discount the fact that there's a friendly sailing directly into the path of those torps? Because I would think that that's fairly relevant information. Okay, the Isanami is down. The key is still well on course to meet her torpedoes. The Empress should be fine. I'm gonna reverse engines anyway. And I'll probably still get hit by the torp from the Mohammedi. Well, if I... Yeah, no, this thing's fast enough. She'll be fine. Key is now aware of her impending doom. And gets hit once. Twice. Ooh, with an ammo detonation at that. And those just turn into a dud. Not a bad result so far. That thing has taken a heck of a lot of damage. But is all that flooding going to be enough to sink her? She's listing to starboard a bit. Otherwise the ship seems fine. I was noticing as I'm recording this that the animations were a bit choppy. Like some frame rate loss. Ooh. Ooh, juicy. It turns out I still had my editing program open. I closed that, so I hope that there's no further frame rate issues. But if you are noticing anything, apologies for that. Okay, so we had the Bearborn and the KG. You are loading. Yeah, okay. These guys... If only you could just grab all of them and throw them into one division. That would make my life a bit easier. You can also rejoin. Don't torpedo anybody. Battleship's trying to fall back. 25,000 ton displacement. 23 for the battlecruiser. Huh. I was actually expecting the battlecruiser to be a little bigger. Other options. Bulkheads, so flooding is an option. Forward right offset. Look at that. 0.4. That's actually really good. Oh. This is looking good. The Yakushi has to make a choice. Slow down or dodge. And it looks like they're not slowing down and sailing right into the torpedo. There it is. Yakushi taking on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections of flooding. Very good. I have taken 60,000 points of damage myself. From supposedly eating 7 torpedoes. Oh. Fucking friendlies. Like, with friends like these, who needs enemies? That was the David that took 6 torpedoes. What the hell? And you? You actually took a torpedo from something else. But that was the 7th torpedo. Yeah, so at least we have all torpedoes accounted for. It's just that 6 of those were launched by my own ships. And you got hit by a fucking DD? Oh, it must have been a torpedo that sailed right through the division and ended up hitting the Emmanuel. Bloody hell, this is why I tend to prefer smaller engagements, because it's just a bit more manageable. It is a bit easier to keep an overview of who's going where and shooting what. All of you, eliminate that battlecruiser. Use armor piercing. It's nice and broadside. We should be able to make some progress on sinking her. The Yakushi is dealing with all sorts of issues. And the key, half flooded. No further main gun ammo. Did you get your ammo destroyed? Oh, right. Yeah, you had an ammo detonation. So I suspect that you have no more ammo. And that makes you a 8.2 inch gun cruiser now. Ooh, flash fires. Galore. Welcome back to the oceans, Japan. You're gonna stay on these oceans, just not quite the way that you'd be hoping. Get some of these CAs involved. I don't really trust my DDs or my light cruisers at the moment not to torpedo my own ships. So I'm not gonna bring them back in. Owen Perez having done 10k. That's actually pretty good. Not at all disappointed with these ships. The game already considers them to be outdated. I cannot build these anymore. Well, I cannot properly refit them anymore because the game also considers these turrets to have been now grown. They're bigger than what they used to be. And they don't fit on the ship anymore. So I'm slowly but steadily trying to replace the ships that I have. Did you just get torpedoed again? By a heavy cruiser. Hold on. Oh, it might have been one of these gentlemen that did that. Anyway, that leaves just one battleship. The Key. And it looks like she's not going to be around for very much longer. She's getting peppered from every direction. Her 4-incher, her 4-inchers are doing as much as they can. But really, the ship has done nothing. She has been unable to use her main batteries to hit anything, despite having a trained crew. She only has Quinson's rangefinder 1. She's using Krupp 1 armor. She's using turbines. I'd say the Japanese are fairly desperately behind in their designs of ships. It is not going to go well for them. And that could... It could just immediately cause a peace treaty to go into effect, or at least request a peace treaty, which I will reject. I'm a little busy invading the place. Yep, there it is. We are going to fight to the end. I am not interested in getting these guys a peace treaty and an easy way out. Now, did you mention, or I mentioned that little place that the Germans have, Kiautschou Bay. I have, well, they have 384,000 men defending the place. That's not really going to be enough when I walk in with 11 million. Welcome to the might of China. If you are connected to my mainland, and especially one of my core provinces, you are going to be in for a rough time. I am actually interested now in declaring war with the Russians, because I might be able to start taking provinces off of them. It is all going to come down to what the RNG-esque thing does in regards to whether or not the invasion goes through. As for this one, we do have the tonnage, so it should be going through, and it gives me South Hokkaido. That might be the stepping stone to North Hokkaido, and we might eventually end up eliminating the Japanese. Now, as I mentioned, a couple of my ships are getting a bit outdated. One of those is the Jinzhou class destroyer that I have. It is, well, capable, as it has shown, but it is showing its age. So I think it's time to start building a new destroyer. Ideally, something not too cheap, or sorry, not too expensive. I want it to be a ship that can be numerous, a ship that, well, thankfully, due to BrotherMunro's mod, does not need to do a whole lot of tasks. Like, it does not need to hunt submarines, it does not need to sweep mines. All of these things are no longer required, so we can focus a bit more on a core task, which, as far as I'm concerned, should be torpedoing the enemy. As for naming this thing, it's going to be the E46, one of my patrons. And let's see. We get the small tower refit number 4, which ironically is too big for the ship. A lot of good that'll do us. I guess we're going to have to increase the beam. And then we're instantly over the displacement that a destroyer is allowed to have. Like, what is this tower about? Why do I have access to that tower if I can't possibly fit it on this ship? What good are... Yeah, right. What good are you? Fine. That's going to be a fat destroyer. I don't like that. Because fat destroyers also tend to be a bit slower. Whereas I would like these things to be interceptors. I want them to be faster, not slower. Come on, are you still too heavy? Here. 60, 99. Perfect. With all of this draft that I have now kind of reduced, I am also going to have to try and do a lot of engine efficiency to get my range back up. Come on. Here we go. 178. Make it forced. And now we're at 9,000 kilometers again. Good. Orcs. Make it survivable. And yeah, I got a radio on there. I got a stereoscope. Well, stereoscopic is more for long range, which a destroyer generally will not be able to do. Because it doesn't get to long range. Let's make sure it gets better acceleration. And now I almost have no displacement left. Give me a rear tower. I have 5-inch Mark 3. That's not bad. 4-inch Mark 4. That's a nice weapon system. Let's put that on there. And we get access to triple torpedo launchers. Which actually have really good firing arcs as well. Can I get... I don't have a secondary tower barbette, right? We got an armed tower. How armed is armed? Of course it can't fit that. It can fit a 3-incher. Unacceptable. Nope. Let's see, where do I want the second gun? Because I would like to have another weapon system. I mean, a torpedo, yes, is a weapon system, but I mean, I want to have another turret. This is going to be a very tight fit. Not sure if that'll rotate. I'm assuming it will not. Let's put a 4-incher there. How expensive was the previous DD class? 11 million. We're looking at double that. Lovely. Maintenance? 400, let's say 500k a month. Versus... $1 million a month. Yes. Okay. Maybe I'm gonna have to forego that second gun. And just use light cruisers to hunt down enemy destroyers. Because I would like to have a very torpedo capable destroyer like this. Let's say 22-inch standard torpedoes. Because it's getting real pricey. Reduce it to 32 knots. That's a little better. Can we make it smaller? Yes. Saves a bit of money. Let's improve steering. Armor-wise, I'm not really too fussed about it. Put this farther out. Space this out. Give this thing a bit better firing arc. There we go. I'm not going to use this to intercept destroyers. It's just going to be there to deal with enemy warships and shoot them with a torpedo or two. Or 6. These are 6 22-inch torpedoes that will hit hard. And they got a good range of 9.8. Which, considering the last engagement, puts me just outside of the range of at least 4-inch secondaries. Or, well, sort of. Because some ships might have some slightly better range on their secondaries. We just get balanced boilers? No, that doesn't matter. Remove the auxiliary engine. It's tough to save all this weight. 10 tons. And it's because of the beam. If you make a ship wider, it's going to have to work harder in order to propel itself through the water. And that's exactly what you're seeing right here. I don't need my turrets to rotate extremely quickly because I only have one. Turret rotation, 7 degrees per second, that's fine. Okay, so we went from 11 million to about 20 million with an operating cost of about 900,000 a month. That's fine. This thing is going to do what I need it to do. It's going to torpedo enemy battleships. It's going to mess up enemy formations, and ideally do that from the safety of being outside the range of the enemy ships. Now, I do have a fair few of these destroyers, the Genziles, so we're now going to order a couple of these E64s, considering that they take probably 7 months to build. Yeah, 7 months. I'm going to just order a bunch. And yes, I am way over budget, so let's reduce research a bit. And that'll last me a while. So, good progress has been made. The Japanese Navy has been fully neutralized. And their army logistics is dropping like a brick. And this is kind of what I'm hoping to achieve. Because with a low army logistics, my invasion should have a higher chance of going through. But whether that is actually so, we'll just have to see as it goes along. Hope you guys enjoyed the battle. Sorry about some of the misfires. And, well, let's see about these... let's see about these German warships in the next episode. More intrigue coming up. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon for more.